Welcome back to CIO Insight here at the Pulse Network. I'm your host, Natalie Teeger, and of course I'm here with Eric Lundquist. And Eric, we have a guest.
We have Paul Anderson. He's the marketing manager for Array Networks.
Yes, he is. Paul, are you there?
I'm here. Hey guys, good to be here.
Great. Hi, Paul. How are you? So we've got Eric would love to talk to you about a few things.
Yeah. Well, okay. Paul, how you doing?
Doing good.
See you via Skype, anyways. And I know I have a lot of questions around enterprise mobility right now. Obviously, enterprise mobility is a big topic, but I know you address it as a company, but there's things like anti-spyware, key logging, screen capture. Are they really concerns for the mobile executive these days?
I'd like to take it back a step and then, kind of work my way back to that.
Okay.
What we're seeing is, in the enterprise now is lots of people are wanting to bring in their mobile devices like, the iPad and the tablet and the Android. And kind of what we're seeing from IT managers is they're looking at that going, well, how do I deal with this? Do I just kind of close my eyes and don't deal with it for a while? Or, but these guys are pressuring me, can I use this? Can I bring this? Can I use my own?
Yeah.
And that really brings up a lot of concerns. Yeah, I want to provide that access, but how do I provide, full application access? Because they want more than just email. But really what's on my mind too is security. Laptops are one thing, so I got the concern of a laptop, if that gets lost or stolen. With a traditional VPN, I've got lots of company data on that laptop. I go to great lengths to secure and encrypt that laptop, and manage that laptop to make sure that if something happens, I'm okay. When you're talking about mobile devices, smartphones and tablets, this gets much worse. It's a personal device, so now the idea of providing that application access and having my company data on that mobile device is something that's a big concern to me. So, our solutions and our products are really out there to help these guys address two key concerns. One is, how do I not just support the tablet or the mobile device, but how do I make more applications available? And how do I prevent data leakage? How do I make sure that if I'm allowing this, it's not going to come back to bite me? I'm going to have a lot of my company data out there that's being, sent here and there, or if the device gets stolen, that data falls into the wrong hands. And so the solution we have, it's called Desktop Direct. That's what it's targeted at, is really being able to enable mobility and have these devices come into the network, but do so in a very secure way.
Yeah, Paul, I think this, the rise mobility and the smartphones and the tablets, it's not going to go away. It's a big wave that IT clearly feels is coming at them. But, when I've had the discussions with the IT CIO community, a lot of times they just don't know where to start. They go, okay, here's everyone walking in and, here's the CEO saying, I want more than email. Where are all my applications? You really can't tell them no, but they really need some advice in terms of, well, how do you start thinking about security and developing the types of security offerings that you're talking about? So maybe you could just, pretend you're the IT guy on, right now, and all these folks walking into your office. What's some advice in terms of how to start developing this?
So I'll talk a little bit about, what's out there, and then a little bit about what we do. And, we kind of think there's a time and a place for everything. But I'll start with, maybe where the average IT guy might start, which is, maybe sending out some rules for saying, follow this to set up VPN for your mobile device. And so typically, you can immediately get into something like email. And then these guys begin to think about, okay, well, we've got these 3, 4, 5, key business applications, and naturally they start going down the road of, well, maybe we need to develop a native application. We need to, either buy a license, if it's a kind of a third-party application, or if it's a homegrown application, how do we, create a native mobile app and roll that out and then secure it via our VPN? And this is, they have to make some decisions there. There's the security consideration, but there's also the investment, the time and energy and cost that goes into creating those native applications. So we think, And I'll speak to one other, potential way to do this too. Is people do have server-based computing, which is a way to deliver virtual desktops and virtual applications to devices. But not everybody has a full-blown server-based computing infrastructure, and also it's not cost-effective to develop that out to meet the needs enterprise-wide for mobile access. So the approach that we took is, you have a primary computing environment. You say your office desktop or your office PC, perhaps even your office laptop. This has on it essentially all of your applications. It's what you're used to. It's got everything you need to be productive. Well, what if we could securely extend that to any device anywhere? What you would have is immediately you would have full application availability, and using the approach we take of just delivering the desktop and controlling that primary desktop remotely, you're not going to have any data leakage because all you're doing is using, say, a tablet or a smartphone or a mobile device and using that to access and control your primary environment. So immediately you get two things using that approach. One, full application availability, and number two, it's over a secure connection, and all you're doing is controlling what's at your primary desktop environment. You're not going to get any data left on that mobile device.
So you really don't have to go out and create a new app. I mean, there's always one question about creating the app, and developers have a huge list of stuff they have to do. A lot of times they just can't get at that. And on the other hand, you have this sort of cloud-based environment, which maybe companies will get to at some point, but they're not there now. So you found a sort of a home in the middle of that, I guess.
I think that's a good way to put it. I believe that companies are still going to invest, in, say, some native apps. I think that there's maybe an issue with the way some apps, just because it works on your PC, doesn't mean that it's going to behave exactly the same or be very usable on, say, a tablet, right? Just the nature of the way the interface, the way you use a tablet is fundamentally different than a PC. So in some instances, you may have to develop a native app. Or it's so important, or the user interface or the usability is so important, you may have to do that. But in an average enterprise, how many applications do you have? I mean, hundreds, thousands. You can't go down that road, whether it's the cloud-based approach or whether it's the native app approach. You really can't do it for everything. So you may take one of those two approaches for some applications, but we think that our approach can absolutely supplement that and provide application access. It's 100% secure to the remainder of the enterprise applications in your organization.
I'm curious, we've always heard about keyloggers on, being developed and pushed onto desktops or laptops, spyware on desktops and laptops. Are you really starting to see some things like keyloggers and spyware being developed for those mobile devices?
I haven't seen it just yet. I'm sure it's around the corner. So obviously, Desktop Direct, the solution that I just described, it can provide access from any device, right? So, previous to this push into tablet devices and mobile devices, we've had people using Desktop Direct because it's a fantastic way to scale remote access and really drive productivity in the enterprise. We've also had people using Desktop Direct for business continuity purposes because it's just so easy, to go to a URL, enter your single sign-on, and get to your desktop, and it's so secure that we've had really good success there, right? So, we have had to do things like anti-spyware for, access from a traditional PC, like a laptop or a desktop. So we've got anti-screen capture, we've got anti-key logging, we've got the obvious stuff, the copy and paste, the print, all the controls that can make that endpoint secure. We don't have the key logging, and the screen capture is not on our support for the tablet device at this moment, just because the nature of the interface is just different. The keyboard is built into the application. Right. So, that anti-spyware feature is not one that we have on the tablet. We haven't seen a large amount of that key logging and some of that spyware yet on the tablet, but it's something that we're keeping our eye on.
Okay, well there you go, Natalie. You know,
All right.
when
Wow.
you start your
I'm
company
getting-
up, you can be secure in all your operations.
I'm getting a great education today, I have to tell you. Thank you so much, Paul Anderson. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Have a good one. And we'll get into break right now, but don't go anywhere because we've got Clint Bolton, who is a senior writer for eweek.com, coming right up after this.
The Pulse Network. It's social TV.